Hey guys, and welcome back to episode 95 of the Sim Racing Show. And this week we got the first signals that Gran Turismo 8 might be on the way. We'll discuss it in just seconds. We also got a manufacturer going all in on the Gran Turismo partnership with a reveal that's genuinely wild. Assetto Corsa Rally has also dropped fresh content that does, in my opinion, change the whole vibe of the game. I've tested it, I'll let you know what I think. iRacing have outlined a Season 2 build that's absolutely stacked, and we've got a couple of behind-the-scenes business moves that could seriously affect what racing games we even get to see this year, including open-world racing games. Let's get into it. So Polyphony Digital might be gearing up for the next chapter of Gran Turismo. How do we know it? Because they've currently got a big batch of roles open, around 18 listings covering things like 3D art roles, UI, project management, and production. And when you see that kind of spread, it usually means that a studio is staffing up for something a little bit larger than just ongoing GT7 updates. Nothing here flat out says Gran Turismo 8, but Polyphony's own hiring pages are very clearly framed around building the future of Gran Turismo, with messaging about continuing the series and pushing art and technology further. So yes, not an exact confirmation, but exactly the kind of signal that gets people thinking GT8 could be on the way. So do you think GT8 is on the way? And if so, what do you want to see in a new game? Very exciting times. And we do have some more news for GT7, because Xiaomi, the same manufacturer that just entered GT7 with the SU7 Ultra that I drove at the Nordschleife, has now officially revealed its Vision Gran Turismo car. They showed this off in Barcelona NWC 2026, and it's basically Xiaomi fully committing to the Gran Turismo partnership. It's not just a real-world car in the game, but also they've done the full Vision GT thing for the series. We don't have a date for when this is going to land in GT7, but it does look like a serious concept car with the usual aero thinking, airflow tricks, and body shape built around downforce, like crazy amounts of downforce. Now, I know a lot of people don't like the VGT cars in Gran Turismo, but it's interesting to see a manufacturer come, do their real-world car, and do a VGT as well. Now, staying with fresh content drops, because Assetto Corsa Rally just had a big one land. They are behind schedule. It's important that we all recognise that. They said there was going to be monthly content. It's not quite monthly, but version 0.3 is out now, and Monte Carlo content is in the game. We've got Sisteron and Col de Turini, two very different environments in my opinion, plus the Lancia Fulvia Coupe and the Skoda Fabia Rally 2, which is a nice mix of classic and modern. One of the standout features is how the dynamic winter conditions work, which adds a ton of atmosphere and makes the stages feel much more authentic and challenging. The only thing it doesn't really fully replicate yet is that really nasty ice formation that you often associate with the full Monte Carlo experience, but even so, it's still a strong step forward for the game, and I want to see more dynamic conditions in Assetto Corsa Rally. Alright, switching over now to the biggest sim platform on the planet. iRacing have just outlined their Season 2 2026 build, but before that I want to say a big thank you to MOZA for sponsoring the Sim Racing Show with the MOZA R25 Ultra True Torque wheelbase. It's a 25 Nm wheelbase for $899, so very competitive on pricing. It obviously works with all of your MOZA wheels, all the way from the ESX wheel at the bottom to the Lamborghini Essenza and the Porsche Michelin at the top. Features telemetry, LFE, all the kind of stuff you'd expect from a top-of-the-range wheelbase these days, so definitely for the price at least, go check it out, link in the description, and big thank you to MOZA for sponsoring the Sim Racing Show. So iRacing Season 2 2026, there's a lot packed into this one, including new content, track refreshes, and lots of physics work. They've confirmed the St. Petersburg street circuit is coming, and we're also getting new cars, including the Ram for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series and the latest Audi RS3 LMS TCR. And we've already had NASCAR updates rolling in recently as well, with Cup cars brought up to 2026 spec and the Camaro ZL1 added ahead of this build. On the track side, 7 circuits are getting an art refresh, and Barber Motorsports Park, that fairly popular circuit, has been fully rescanned, which usually does mean better accuracy obviously across the board. But the biggest takeaway seems to be physics. iRacing are continuing doing a class by class refresh approach. So after the big GT3 work last year I let you know about, now they're looking at GTE, TCR and classic IMSA type content. Even the Lotus 49 is getting updates, and there's UI, AI changes coming as well, with the career mode work still moving along. So that new build lands in March, and let me know in the comments what matters more to you in iRacing: new tracks and cars, which we need to pay for, or physics refreshes, which we don't. It's quite interesting, isn't it? And while we're on the topic of racing projects and big roadmaps, now quick sim racing business update, and this one could affect a bunch of racing game projects down the line because Nacon have postponed Nacon Connect to May. They pushed it back after what seems to be a rough financial period linked to problems at their parent company Big Ben. They've had to pause public trading, and go through insolvency related steps. Now for us, Nacon are trying to calm everyone down by saying their release is still moving forward. They're claiming the games they've still announced are already on schedule, and even they say their unannounced projects are still on track. The reason they say they've delayed the show is to focus resources on shipping what's coming and then do more flashy reveals once things are more stable. So from a sim racing perspective, we don't know yet, but we do need to see these games come out. We do need to see evidence that these games are not being delayed by the financial situation. Obviously, I cover a lot of Nacon racing games like Test Drive Unlimited, like Rennsport was published by Nacon, but now Rennsport say they're going it alone, and obviously Endurance Motorsport Series as well. So some interesting games there caught up in this. Now, speaking of big projects, big projects that might shake up the driving game space, Maverick Games have given an important update. Now, this matters. You might not have heard of Maverick Games. I know them. I've raced against them in real life. This could genuinely deliver the next open world driving game that pulls people away from Horizon style titles. But Amazon is no longer publishing this. This is a big open world driving game from people who used to be at the Forza Horizon developer, but Maverick say they still own the IP, so the game hasn't been frozen, cancelled or handed over. They just lost their publisher, not the project. And they say the game is already at a stage where the full experience is playable from start to finish, and they've moved it into that final stretch where it's all polished performance and getting it to release quality. That's a very different situation to just having some like engine work and a concept in the pitch deck. They've also dropped an in-engine screenshot, so Porsche's parked up, and the reason they say we haven't seen a full trailer yet seems to be approvals. So with driving games, you deal with all the car brand and music licensing, and you can't just throw a trailer online whenever you feel about it. Remember who's leading this? Mike Brown, ex-Forza Horizon creative director. So the proof will be in the pudding here. If it's as good as they say, a publisher will come in and snap this up. If it isn't as good as they say, it could be a big disaster, so we will see. Now back to kind of full sim stuff, because Le Mans Ultimate has just shuffled the GT3 order in a pretty big way, because BAP has been reshuffled heavily in the latest patch. Some cars have taken a performance hit, like the Huracan Evo 2, Porsche 911 LM GT3R and the McLaren 720S, while the Aston Martin Vantage looks like one of the big winners based on weight changes. Remember, some of those cars are paid for, some are free, like the 720S. And there's a note for hypercar drivers as well. If you're using driver aids like ABS and stability control, you can be hit with large weight penalties. I don't understand how ABS works on the hypercar actually, but apparently up to 45 kg and 40 kg. So that's going to change how some people set the cars up. Let me know if you like these big BOP shake-ups that force everyone to adapt, or if you find it a bit annoying. Now, a big behind-the-scenes change for Rennsport on console, as I just alluded to, Rennsport and Nacon have split on the PlayStation and Xbox publishing side, so the console versions of Rennsport are moving to self-publishing under the Rennsport team instead. They're saying the game isn't going anywhere on console, it's just that the studio will now control the rollout updates and future content directly, with the handover expected to be completed by the end of March. I went over to Rennsport and I absolutely grilled them on the questions that you would expect me to ask them about VR, triple screens, career mode, whether there's too much focus on esports. I asked them all these questions. Go watch that interview. I'm also going to do a video highlighting my experience of doing a race there with esports drivers. So a bit of Rennsport content to look forward to, and Project Motor Racing as well. Project Motor Racing going to return to the channel, and I haven't even mentioned our iRacing Arcade because I've done a couple of big videos on iRacing Arcade. I think it's a great arcade game, but I think some people are confused because it's called iRacing Arcade and it really doesn't have much to do with iRacing at all. So let me know what you think about that in the comments. Make sure to share the Sim Racing Show, sign up to my newsletter for free, link in the description, and follow me on Spotify as well. And I'll see you in the next Sim Racing Show.